Let's clap it up. Episode 82 of the Five-A-Side podcast.
Yes, sir.
Just wrapped up Q1 of 2025. And who am I joined by today?
What's going on, guys? Seb.
Josh.
Gabriel.
Kendrick.
And before we even get into a question of the week, just in general, how did y'all feel about Q1 of building this brand, building this company? We've done a lot in just these last 3 months. So some thoughts, man. We got the first ever directorial debut. Shout out Seb on that. We was at Super Bowl, crazy analytics. We had an incredible Black History Month, being able to focus on so many different things. You got your feature from New York City FC as well. We had the Nivea Men event. So yeah, just y'all thoughts on Q1.
I mean, I think the coolest thing is that people work with us now.
Yeah.
So that's been amazing to have like people come on and be, and like, I don't know, like people just be interested in helping us on our mission. I think it's very validating. So
for sure. Shout out Moosey, shout out Kofi.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Part of the crew now too. Any thoughts, any reflections?
Yeah, I mean, on the same breath, it's just really dope to get the collaborations from all the brands that we've been working with. I mean, it's not like we just started doing collaborations, but it feels like we have some more like cemented, longer term relationships that are just amazing. And
Yeah. EA Sports FC too. Forgot to even mention that. There's been so much going on. Just had our first women baller on the pod as well. Shout out Sam. Shout out Brooklyn FC. Yeah, just a lot going on, bro. Any other thoughts?
No, I was gonna say Q1 sometimes can start off real slow.
Yeah.
We kept the pace up and
Got straight to it.
yeah, it's fun to see.
I wouldn't even say kept the pace. I think we switched into
No, we actually amped it up for sure. Yeah.
And honestly, the season only has a month or two left.
Yeah.
Q1 is a big part of it. So,
And what a lot of people don't know, as like in the content creation event space in footy, the summer in the US heats up even more because now all the European teams come over here, and this time for the first time we have the Club World Cup. So for us, it actually speeds up versus in Europe, it might be like, can finally catch our breath. But getting into our actual question of the week, we have some breaking news from the Brazilian League. Memphis Depay, who's been playing on Corinthians this year, obviously was such a massive signing. He's been balling out, been bringing all this attention to the Brazilian League. Recently stood on top of the ball, a little bit of a showboating moment that you think would embody Jogo Bonito, but instead they are now banning that action in the Brazilian League out of all countries. So what are your thoughts on this revelation? Very surprising news. And yeah, you can definitely get the quotes off from Depay.
That matter in this story. So Memphis Depay, after the Brazilian Federation banned showboating, he tweeted, "I really went to Brazil to also experience Jogo Bonito firsthand. But now the Brazilian Federation announced yesterday that no player can stand on the ball or the player will receive a yellow card. It was decided after I did that, and for a couple of seconds, it was decided after I did that for a couple of seconds in the final cup." He tweets a couple more things, and he says, "The joy Brazilian football is elevating and deserves global visibility. There is so much talent over here. The joy and passion in the way of expressing ourselves on the field shouldn't be limited. Let's focus on what rules can improve the sport and focus on business, on the business side of football, and what can benefit the club and the fans instead of these silly announcements." And then Neymar responded to that saying, "Football is getting more and more boring, too much complaining."
Yep.
It's to me, it's like genuinely like the strangest league to come out with something like this.
No, it's
like,
for sure the strangest.
Like when I saw that, I was like, "What?" It doesn't make any sense, and it's a shame. It's kind of sad. We've had players in Europe like Leao, and especially Leao, who's talked about how like stats have become way too much of a focus, and how like the freedom for a player to just be able to actually enjoy themselves on the field is like frowned upon. Like if you are a player who's visibly trying to have a good time on the field, it's actually something that will hurt your career and your career trajectory.
But did you score? That's it. That's all they do.
But what are the stats? But did you score? But did you get an assist? Yeah. Whereas I feel like at least like the way my dad talks about soccer, the way like people who are older than me talk about soccer, it seemed like there was a point in time where if you were able to just kind of like perform on the field and bring people out into the stands, people would let you get away with having maybe a lower stat line than what they'll let you get away with now. Like if you're able to bring people to the stadium to watch you perform and entertain, then there used to be a lot more room for just like entertainers.
And there's also like so much that goes into, there's only a few goals in a game. So there's only a couple statistical measures that really come from a game in terms of the stats people compare, because no one's talking about passes completed and pass percentage.
Nah, they do be talking about that
A little bit, but it's mostly GA. It's really the G/A, and maybe a little bit of expected goals is coming to the frame. So it's like appreciate the part of the buildup,
Right.
Simply put. But I know you also got a lot of thoughts on it. So
Sure, man. I mean, it's just disappointing, but it's also just confusing culturally.
yeah, very confusing culture.
Especially like a place that encourages people to make the attempt of entertaining, but also bringing the ball forward and creating a scoring moment. But yeah, as I told you, it just reminds me of what Jazz from actually the Yankees brought up. There was a moment where he was actually in the Miami Marlins. This one, young guy came over, hit a home run. And the next time he was at bat, he did the Juan Soto shuffle, which is like a little type of like entertaining move at the bat. But then the veterans are trying to chew him out and let him know that like, yo, you can't be on that type of timing. But it's like, yo, like it's actually an entertainment organization at the end of the day. I think sometimes we focus on it being a consumer business, which leads into, the higher ups looking for just the statistical measures to win the games to get more money. But yeah, he said that it's a kid's game. And that's really what it all is. And that's the beauty of sports. The fact that like these are individuals who love something as a kid. Most people who are working don't love what they're doing as a kid, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's keep it going that way.
Shout out us for doing what we love. And even speaking of that, it's the irony in baseball is that y'all took the fun out the sport, and look what happened to your product.
Yeah.
Look what happened to the age demographic rising, the viewership going down. Like that's what comes at risk when you start removing the pieces that people love. And to see Brazil of all places and their domestic league, which is its own special product separate from the Seleção, which has the world attention, has all the pressure, maybe has become a little more robotic recently. Yeah, this is something that can be a bit more protected, and yet you let this rule come in place.
It's just interesting
crazy.
Because even like players that are now doing well, such as Lamine Yamal, a lot of the older, players that used to play, hype him up because he's bringing dribbling back. He's very expressive in that way.
Vinny too, for sure. Vinny was doing all types of crazy tricks recently.
He recently got 2 defenders over there crashing on each other.
The other thing is like it's weird that you would make a rule after a foreign player, a big name from Europe, came to your league.
In a singular moment.
That's so
okay. If everybody was standing on the ball all game long, whatever. But bro,
no. But also like Depay coming to the Brazilian league has been a huge boost for the Brazilian league's profile.
Yeah.
So like Depay clearly came to the league to experience that type of like cultural expression of soccer.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you make a rule that essentially limits other players coming for that same reason? Because now I can imagine players that are maybe 29, 30, 31 who are in Europe thinking, okay, what's the next stage of my career going to be? Oh, it could be cool to like enjoy like that Brazilian cultural experience playing in the Brazilian league. And now the league is making rules that are going against what people want from their product. So it's like
it's a deeper cultural question when you really start thinking about it.
It's very strange.
And like
it's very strange.
The Europeanization of things and like
what'd you say?
It's probably due to the response in the sense that
from who?
From what it caused on the pitch. I'm not saying that it's okay. I wouldn't do this, but if there's any reason, it's because of what happened when niggas showboated. However, that's part of the entertainment.
It's a question
that, like niggas should keep going.
It's a question from the NBA. Like it's a basketball question also. Where like okay, the score like dunking. I think it happened. It happened during March Madness. Like someone dunks like at the end of the game.
Yeah.
The score is like all right, you've already won the game. Should you not dunk or should you not shoot?
I think I think the question is more so like technical foul. So like you dunk on somebody and then you like you too little.
Yeah.
And then they're like, nah, you can't do that. And
Yeah.
like, that's more of like
you can't
it's just the taunting.
Yeah.
I'm listening to y'all and I hear y'all, but at the other end of the day, I think it's just like the professionalization of sports where it's like they just don't want people taunting. Like because like you said, it leads to fights, it leads to whatever it looks like, and standing on the ball like that, that's like one of the ultimate forms of disrespect. Like you do that in front of 60,000 people, I actually have to kick you, bro.
So why?
Like I can't let you do that.
So then win the game.
I'm just saying I'm saying from a business perspective, you don't want grown men taunting each other on the pitch.
Or do you? Is that better for the product? Because there are ratings that are down and could be up with a little more action.
There's validity to both sides.
Some of the biggest, most viewed boxing games, and I know boxing's a bit of a circus and it's different, it's from the pre-match insane taunting.
Yeah.
Literally purely for business and income too. So that's why when they say for business, I'm like, what's really for business? But yeah, we can go on this forever.
It's a kid's game.
Yeah. It's true, man. Gotta let the child head out.
No, because now like the next time Corinthians plays Palmeiras, like now like people are gonna watch that game.
Oh, yeah.
You know what happened the first time, so
Do it again.
Exactly.
I hope he does it again. Takes the yellow card. It's like taking the shirt off when you
worth the
celebrate.
yellow.
It's worth
It's
it.
worth the yellow.
If you're winning like 3-0 by the end, ooh, in the corner.
worth
Oh shit. Let's kick it off.
Definitely.
Oh man, but bringing it into Europe and speaking of also very exciting matchups, we are now into the quarterfinals of the UEFA Champions League, right into the business end of the season. Some very, very good games coming up. So just to read off these matchups and we'll give a little bit of preview and predictions. We have Arsenal hosting Real Madrid in the first leg, second leg in Madrid. We have Bayern Munich hosting Inter Milan, second leg in Milan. Barca hosting Dortmund with a second leg in Dortmund, and then PSG hosting Aston Villa with leg 2 in Birmingham, England. All right, so our predictions for Arsenal versus Real Madrid, and these are overall 2-leg predictions. Start with you, Seb.
I think I have Real Madrid over 2 legs.
Madrid should figure it out.
Yeah, I got Real Madrid as well. Narrowly, probably win one of the matches, draw one. I think they'll get through, though.
I got Real Madrid.
All right. Bayern Munich versus Inter Milan.
I have Inter over 2 legs. Over 2 legs, I think I have Inter just because Bayern Munich right now are in a position where they have a lot of injuries, and Inter I think is the most underrated team in Italy, and I'm saying that as in the world, and I'm saying that as AC Milan fan.
I low-key agree with you.
Because they're literally going for the treble, and no one has seen any like treble story. Inter is in all 3 competitions,
And their
right
defense has been ridiculous.
They're ridiculous, and they played probably the most interesting football in the world because it's so unique how they play. So fucking unique.
And not to mention, they were finalists a couple years ago. This is an experienced team. They have the same core, great coach. They could totally win Champions League.
And Company has never coached in a game like this.
That is true.
Company has
It's
never
different.
coached against. Bro, Inzaghi is a Champions League finalist coach. Company is it's gonna be a tough game.
Leg 2 in San Siro?
Yeah, it's
Those
long.
fans gonna be
It's
wilding.
long.
Go ahead.
Bayern should figure it out.
Really?
Should?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's gonna be tough without Musiala.
Very tough.
But honestly,
Davies just went down 2 for the season.
Yeah.
Oh, Davies for real.
It's long, bro.
Okay, no, I mean, it's
No Musiala, especially up top, is really tough.
And Muller's already talking about him retiring.
Yeah. Well, he's leaving. He might not be retiring.
They already know they cursed by Harry Kane, bro.
They're like,
They feel it in their bone. Like, they know they're going to lose.
So who
I
do you
got Inter.
I got Inter as well. I'll go with Inter Milan for this for sure. I think Inter really could win the Champions League, honestly.
I agree.
And it feels like they're that type of team. Like most of the time when you win the Champions League and it's been quite some time, it's that slow buildup. You don't just win out of nowhere.
Yep.
They've been building this project for a while. They got the Scudettos. They were the finalists a couple years ago.
Zero media pressure.
Yeah.
So-
Because when they likely play Barca will be statistical favorites. But I think Inter is a probably better coach, more seasoned, ready team for Champions League football specifically. And speaking of Barca, next up we have Barca versus Dortmund. So we start with you, Seb.
Hey,
Don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it, Seb.
Don't be stinky.
Don't do
Don't
it.
be stinky. Just
And I'm a Real Madrid fan, but don't do it.
What's
the
the
more you
leg-
tell him not to do something, it makes him want to do it.
No,
Seb's
but-
going to take it because leg 2 is in
Dortmund
Dortmund.
is-
his leg 2's in Dortmund.
Leg 2 is in
leg 2's in Dortmund. Leg 2's in Dortmund.
Ooh, Lamine in the yellow wall. He don't give a fuck, bro. Lamine don't care about no yellow wall, blue wall.
These are Champions League finalists.
Barca in 5. No,
Y'all are laughing like these aren't Champions League finalists.
I agree.
They are.
But
They
they're
did.
also in like 10th place.
yeah.
Where were they last season?
5th. It was like 5th. I swear to
Yeah,
God.
they had to qualify for the Champions League again.
Yeah, it was
so.
like 5th.
Dortmund. They're going to take it over 2 legs.
Dortmund, you say that?
Dortmund will win the matchup against Barca over 2 legs.
All right, that's you, bro.
Barca should figure it out.
Yo, Josh, you killing me, dog. I'm a Real Madrid fan, but Barca got it. Barca got it.
Barca.
All right, lastly.
I'll put money on that one.
Oof.
I'll put money on
Another dinner?
Another dinner.
Another dinner?
Another dinner.
All right.
But for all of us, though.
Forever.
Yeah,
Forever.
you're different,
And if
bro.
I win, I get 3 dinners.
Yeah, sure.
Lovely. Lovely.
Am I allowed to
What
like
does 3 dinners
ethically bet
mean?
on Barcelona as a Real
What does 3
Madrid
dinners
fan?
mean? 3 dinners means I eat 3 times. Free.
Free.
One-on-one dinners.
Dinners.
3
He's gonna
1-on-1.
post it each time too.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Correct.
That's a sick weekend, bro. Lord have mercy. Lastly, PSG,
Tough one.
the champions of Ligue 1 with what, like 6 games left?
This is a tough one? You're wildin', bro.
Hosting versus Aston Villa, leg 2 in Birmingham. Who do you got, Seb?
This is actually tough. Like I think if you,
It could be tougher than people think.
it's
It could
tougher
be.
than people think. So who do you have if you're talking about? Oh my God, bro.
PSG, bro.
Really?
Villa has been mid this season.
No, they haven't.
They've been mid, bro. And obviously not in Champions League to get where they are, but also their path to where they are in the Champions League, I feel like also hasn't been that
They
difficult.
haven't been mid. What are they? 6th in the table, 5th in the table in the Prem?
Since when
No,
is that not
they're below
mid?
that.
They're like 8th place, bro.
Really? They're
Yeah.
that low? I thought it was like Forest
They're in 7th, so they're not that bad.
and like.
And to be fair, they
points-wise,
are 2 points from
They're
4th.
2 points from
They
fourth.
got a battered Marcus Rashford.
Oh, actually, wait.
First of all, Rashford is
actually,
cooking
hold
these
up.
days.
They totally turned it around
I mean,
recently
that's
with
what I'm
Rashford
saying.
and
Nearly-
That's what I'm
Asensio.
fucking
A
saying.
newly retired Asensio.
That's not accurate at all. And he's from PSG too.
He's just trying.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's just chatting. He's rallying you up.
It's because you worried about that 4th place position getting snagged right there. Chelsea.
Yeah, no. First of all, so Villa is not mid this year at all.
Yeah. They've been turning it around recently specifically. I think they're in the FA Cup semis, if I'm not mistaken, too.
So Villa, for me, Villa, and the reason why I think Villa is because PSG's path. While I'm super happy for the fact that Paris has finally figured out their identity. I think the Liverpool game was a little bit fraudulent. The Liverpool matchup was a little bit fraudulent just because they faced a Liverpool team that was in a position that was like Liverpool was set up to fail against PSG. Because Liverpool, let me explain. Let me finish.
He's literally rage baiting.
No, let me finish. Because Liverpool was entering that game with the Carabao Cup final coming up, and the conversations about Mo Salah Ballon d'Or, like at the peak of the conversation, and with the Van Dijk conversation with him leaving, and the Trent conversation with them leaving, that Liverpool matchup against PSG was set up perfectly for Liverpool to lose over 2 legs against Paris.
Fair.
Set up perfectly.
I will say this.
That's fair.
Liverpool, earlier in the season, they had an amazing start with Slot. It is a little crazy for us to have expected the first season post-Klopp that this is like a legit treble contender. I think people did get a little overexcited.
Yeah.
Now you're realizing, okay, this is a very
normal-
good
this is a
team.
squad.
This is a very good team.
Exactly.
They're going to win the Prem.
Exactly.
But you can't just throw a treble on someone instantly because they're live in January.
Exactly.
So I will say,
Y'all
maybe
are gonna
this
get cooked.
No, I'm just saying maybe this isn't the Liverpool you expected, but that was a very impressive win, especially after losing a heartbreaking loss in Paris and having to go to Anfield and win that on penalties. That was a heart win for them.
I agree. But I don't think that, I think that win has elevated PSG to the point where people are talking about, to beat PSG, you need to be a first or a second place team in your league.
I see what you're saying.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
I saw the video today. And I was like, I don't know about all that. This is still PSG from Ligue 1. Like, let's be clear. We'll see. But for me, Villa.
Okay, we're going Villa.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be.
Oh, they're gonna say PSG should get it done.
I mean, PSG should get it done.
Yeah.
But it'll be cool to see Villa pull it off, man.
Champions League winners in the past, right? Way back, like 50s,
It would have to
60s.
be
I think they have 2 Champions League, something like that.
But it would be real cool to at least have them push into semis.
I
bro.
think it'll be closer than people expect, but I'm gonna go with PSG. I think they got the squad they need right now. I don't know about winning the UCL, but they're building a very legit project now, which is something we don't always talk about. Paris. I feel the project vibes. To have Barcola be the burgeoning star and then bring in Doué at 19 being even better than him already.
Zaire Emery
at the same time, Zaire Emery in midfield.
Kvaratskhelia is a serious beast.
Vitinha is one of the best midfielders in the world.
Dembele has
Controlling
like
tempo.
31 goals this season.
They got a squad and they got a future. But yeah, I think PSG.
It's PSG, bro.
Another bet?
You guys are drunk. You said
We just picked PSG,
that,
bro.
You said that the game against Liverpool was set up for them to lose. The team that's in first place in the Prem and was
winning
in first place in the Champions League table.
That's exactly why. That's exactly my point.
All right, bro.
That's exactly my point.
It's Seb vibes, bro.
You think Goliath was set up to lose against David?
Well, who won?
No, but
who won?
But that's the question.
Well, who won?
That's not the question.
Don't do that.
But who won?
That's not the question.
You know what I'm saying? You got
Glass
you.
wasn't set up for shit.
He got me by asking me a different question.
Glass,
Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Glass wasn't set up for shit.
Nah,
That's
but
a poor example for you. I'm not gonna lie.
it wasn't. But anyways, before we move on from Champions League,
Yes.
we have some information from the True Folder.
Oh Lord, not the true folder.
Real Madrid players fined but free to face Arsenal.
How much will they find?
So
This is so stupid.
Antonio Rudiger, Kylian
Different
Mbappe,
amounts.
Vinny Jr., and Denis Ceballos, following their fraudulent win against Atletico.
We just
Madrid.
always beat them when it matters.
Yeah,
but yeah.
fraudulent win.
Yeah.
Double foot tap.
He did.
Y'all niggas be pulling out every
Winners win. Shout out
double
Nike.
foot tap.
Every possible thing.
One of the funniest.
They win, bro. They're like, you know what I'm saying? Listen, Lakers mixed with Celtics, mixed with Yankees, mixed with that's what they do, bro. Meanwhile, I'm also a Knicks fan.
The mob.
Playoffs starting soon. Let's
They
get it.
are
But
literally the mob.
Anyways,
Double.
so
Julian, why'd you didn't double? I mean, go ahead.
Please.
So these four players were facing potential match bans
Against Arsenal.
due to their celebrations following the match. Antonio Rudiger made a death motion towards the fan.
Who said it's death?
Mbappe was grabbing his groin.
It hurt.
Vinny was doing all types of things. Ceballos was doing all type of things.
This is exactly how we got
Nah.
banned. Nigga said all the words that are groin, death.
Let me finish.
Gestures to the crowd.
Yeah. Miscellaneous gestures towards the crowd.
Yeah.
And so it was possible that they would miss the match, which would give Arsenal a lot more favor in this matchup. Long story short, the only two players that were actually found guilty. I want to read the actual statute from UEFA.
Jesus Christ.
They were found guilty of Article 11.2b of UEFA's disciplinary regulations, which states the basic rules of decent conduct. So basically, they violated the rules of decent conduct. Rudiger and Ceballos were both fined, but for whatever reason, they're allowed to play. I mean, Rudiger and Mbappe were both fined, but for whatever reason, they're allowed to play.
What do you mean, whatever reason? The reason is that's not the punishment.
I'm going to tell you why. They were both dished out a singular match ban, but they have 1 year to
choose what
choose which match they actually sit out from a game.
You guys are the mob, bro. You guare the
no.
mob, bro.
Listen,
what do you mean you get
that's
to
what I'm
pick what
saying.
game you? What do you mean?
That is the law, bro. The fuck you mean? He just read you the entire.
You guys are the mob.
You can't read the rule book and say these are the rules and then blame them when the fact that they're getting punished for something that no one should get punished for.
How is it a punishment?
And if
How did they
had done the
receive-
same thing
how did
to
they-
Real Madrid, who gives a
How did they?
flying fuck?
The genuine question for me: how do you receive a match ban in a competition for doing something?
They
the
did it
previous
for,
match,
they've done that for racist
but they have
players,
a year.
bro.
But they have a year to choose when they sit out from a game.
They've done that for
Instead
players
of the next
after
match.
racist incidents.
Insane comparison from Gabriel.
No, what I'm saying.
Insane.
Wait, what I'm saying. Okay, what's worse, this or racism? Racism's probably worse, right? Right?
We're not doing this, bro.
Right?
No, right? So,
right?
We're not doing that. We
No,
not.
but
if the rule book says after racist abuse,
Them dudes
you can
man.
pick a portion of when your ban happens and it's not instant, then why for a gesture towards the crowd should it have to be
So
instant?
my thing is that
if that
just-
is the rule, like what are we
Has it
talking
been done
about?
before?
Bro?
That's the only question. Has it been
Yeah.
done before?
When have you ever seen a player sell it? They do like nah. And first of all, we're talking about fun and excitement and everything. You should be able to do it, whatever.
Oh,
Who cares?
That's a lot.
Not whatever. You know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't need to see Mbappe grabbing his meat. I didn't need to see Mbappe grabbing his meat.
The mob.
Anyways,
Haters.
we gotta get these clips out tomorrow. These are great clips.
That one's valid whenever, but yeah.
I can't. So it's on you.
Yeah. We'll get the preview.
That's what
Oh,
else is
Lord.
in the folder.
Speaking of,
Is there more?
Let me.
So
By
what
the
else
way-
is in the folder?
oh brother,
This was Rudiger's act towards the fans.
yeah, he should he should be banned for life from sports for a gesture
why did
from the Gladiator.
Why did you analog
Wait,
style
also,
show a photo
Rasmus
over
Højlund did the same thing for. Let's be facts. Rasmus Højlund did the same thing for Manchester United as a goal celebration, and no, he did not receive a match ban from it. So there's more
I
precedent
just
for it.
think
There you go.
I just think it's odd that they were found guilty, but then they don't have to miss the ban.
But
They don't
that's-
have to miss the match.
But that's the rule, though.
That's what I'm saying. I think that's odd.
Great, but that is their rule. It's not like Madrid's getting a separate opportunity to do it differently, and it never goes that way.
I just think it's odd.
That's fine. Winners win, bro. Winners win. It is what it is. Speaking of winners, though, Seb, you witnessed Newcastle
facts.
win the League Cup. You literally celebrated with Dan Burns on the best day of his life.
did, yeah.
What was that experience like?
So I got to go to London for the Carabao Cup final. I had got like an all access pass to Wembley, so I know Wembley better than anyone now. I was in the tunnels of Wembley, bro. I've seen things in Wembley that I'm not even allowed to talk about. But anyways,
Who is this?
shout out EFL. I got to be with the Newcastle fans
Biggest
when
thing.
they won their first ever trophy in 70 years. I don't think I've ever seen that many bald men crying in my life.
That's fire.
I have a video to prove it. I'm like filming because my job was to like take videos and like film the atmosphere as they win. A guy comes up to me, hugs me. I got kissed on the head by another guy. There was a point where there was like,
why for that?
You kissed me head.
Kiss me, bro.
Trust me.
What can I say?
Continue.
There's a point where like I was panning around and like I'll put the video here, but if you watch the video and you like pause it from like frame to frame, it's like the amount of emotion that you can see in each single person is like probably the most emotion that person has ever shown in their life. Like that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
There's people like climbing like from like the top part of the stadium, like jumping down to the second floor.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a part of me that's like a Newcastle fan right now, just because of like how cool it was to see them win that, and then to be like with the players also, like when they won. Oh, this is a ridiculous story. So teams when they go to a stadium, like take a bus to the stadium.
Yeah.
The bus has to leave with all the players that came with them on the bus, but that's a delegation of like 60 people because there's staff.
Yeah.
There's like physios, there's coaching staff.
Yep.
So players have like media duties at the end of the game, even if you lose. So the Liverpool players had to still do media. And so there's players that are designated for media at the end of a game, but sometimes the media doesn't ask you questions because for whatever reason, maybe they don't have enough reporters that speak your language. So for example, in this case, Luis Diaz was just kind of like not being asked any questions. So he's kind of just like sitting on the side next to me. So me and Luis Diaz are like talking after the game. And he's like telling me about how he thinks Colombia's going to win the World Cup. He's telling me about I asked him about the song recording, like the Colombia, like
their anthem.
The anthem.
Yeah.
He was like telling me about how it came together, how he helped write it. And so he's like, there's a point where like I haven't interrupted him in like 5 minutes and he's still talking. And I'm like struggling because, I speak Spanish, but Colombian Spanish, especially
it was all in Spanish too.
Colombian barrio Spanish is like a little, I'm like nodding, like, see. But like there's things I'm not fully understanding to the point where I don't know why he was talking so much, but the bus left without him. The Liverpool bus left without him. So at a certain point, Luis Diaz checks his phone. He goes, "Ay, coño!" Gets up, sprints across like the media section, bumps into the Newcastle players who are currently doing interviews. And then I see him run back into the room. He goes, "El autobús, ¿dónde está el autobús?" Bro, they left without him. These are
your fault, bro.
It's low-key my fault.
Like, your story, bro.
I don't know what happened.
Well, the thing is, after a final loss, that bus gotta get out of there, man.
Yeah,
We ain't sticking around for this. You know what I'm saying? We out of here. So,
Yeah,
Luis, hurry up.
I don't know what happened.
What Hooper got left with the championship celebration? It was a Lakers player, right?
Wow, this is what
You know what I'm saying? Was it Rondo? It was somebody.
I don't know.
Nah, you know who it was? The nigga who looked Quinn Cook, who looks like J. Cole. Quinn Cook got left.
Okay, the bubble.
Quinn Cook, the bubble. Yeah, the Lakers who actually won championship bus.
Shout out
They
Quinn.
left without Quinn Cook. Yeah,
Shout out Okel.
that's a fact.
My
man.
question to you is, how are the younger fans receiving the win? Like, was it just as passionate as the people?
Yeah. I mean, there was a little girl in front of me who was crying with her dad. I mean, I think it was a lot of like families there also. So it was like, I mean, it was, English people, I think to a certain extent, don't get enough opportunities to show emotion. It's a very like, especially up north. That was an opportunity, I think, for a lot of people to like cry and like show familial love. Yeah, it was very beautiful. I feel very lucky to have seen
Football
that.
is where they show the most passion, the most emotion. That's a fact. It's been talked about before. Well, I'm glad you got to experience that, bro.
Over here crying, got Sub's camera in your face.
Listen, they don't care. They want the camera. They want to show it at that point.
Red and black.
Listen, all
Never
right.
mind. Yo,
All
so
right.
another thing.
Why do we? Oh,
no,
come
but-
on, guys.
but-
Let's not be
but
though. Like,
let me.
It was so beautiful,
To that
man.
point, to that
He's
point.
out there, like
I'm just saying,
To the
bro.
point, another-
Some of them were probably thinking that, who the fuck is this American?
Yeah, for sure. But Wembley did an interesting thing. I don't know if I'll say it. Whatever. It seemed like Wembley hired like staff for the
I don't
game,
want to
right?
hear this, bro.
So at Wembley,
I don't want to hear this.
you will.
Keep it to yourself, bro.
it's already
So
here.
there's a certain like catering staff that gets hired for the match, right?
Sure.
Like there's people who are doing like food staff, there's people who are just manning the exits and the entrances to the different sections of the stadium. Like when you're going down the stairs, someone tells you, okay, your ticket's like B5, you go down this way, you go left. The entire catering staff at Wembley was fully Somali. Every single person was Somali, Muslim Somali, mind you, during Ramadan.
Muslim Somali.
I think what I will say is that the interesting thing about hiring an all Muslim staff during Ramadan for an entire day thing is that as a corporate entity, you do not have to feed people twice a day.
Oh man.
However,
bro,
what was beautiful to see was that the Newcastle traveling fans in their area, in their section, I don't know how they knew, but somehow they knew that like the catering staff was going to be like Muslims, so all of them brought food. So when the sun set, they were like passing dates and like passing bananas to the I don't know what's the word, like the staff.
I think they call it ushers.
The ushers,
yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So like the ushers and security. And so the Newcastle fans like gave everyone food when the sun set. So
That's
that was very
actually
beautiful to see.
That is really nice.
I didn't know where this was.
Yeah. Progress.
My auntie used to work at some of the stadiums like Anfield, Old Trafford.
You've also been to a final at Wembley. Saw your boys beat Man City your first ever game. That's insane too.
Yeah, but the usher treatment, that's interesting to hear.
Yeah.
Because she did not have good stories to tell.
Yeah, I can imagine if the Liverpool side was a lot less gracious.
Yeah. Pouty fans after that final L. Right after the Paris thing too. Crazy. But speaking of championships, we have an absolutely crazy title race in La Liga. Right when you thought it couldn't get any more exciting, Real Madrid with a last-minute loss to Valencia, who was sitting at 15th place in the time. And if that wasn't enough, you thought, okay, Barca should win, go 6 points clear. But instead, they give up a 1-0 lead and draw Real Betis, which only gives them a 1 extra point advantage over Real Madrid.
Stinky.
So they currently sit 4 points over Real, and then Atletico won, while both of those teams drop points. So now Atleti is only 3 points from Real Madrid, 7 from Barcelona. So the title race is heated up even more. As you just said that you think Atletico would actually sneak and find a way to win it. So what are y'all thoughts on this title race just continuously getting more exciting? And then I think personally, this is the best one probably since like 2015, 2016, when the final 3 were separated by 3 points, the top 3.
Would y'all say fatigue is showing?
Yeah, for sure. The mental and physical fatigue, especially when you consider all these overtime matches, specifically on the Real Madrid side. So you had the last minute winner over Real Sociedad Copa del Rey, Champions League penalty shootout recently against Atletico Madrid. Just how much most of the they don't have the depth of previous years either. So these guys are not getting the type of rest you would expect, and there's not as much faith in the bench. Not to mention injuries and people missing. Like the Real Madrid played their third string goalie, a 19-year-old from the academy this weekend, because Courtois and Lunin were out. The Barca boys are playing a ton of games. You know, Lamine is playing pretty much every single game, including for Spain. So I think people are tired on both sides, which Seb also actually mentioned for the international players.
I'll begin. Real Madrid is players are dropping like flies. To a certain extent, there is not enough trust from Ancelotti in his bench, as you said, as there have been in previous years with previous Real Madrid squads. Barcelona is super young, and I don't think they've ever been in a dogfight like this, where it's like a three-man race like this, especially with the fact that they're still in Champions League.
And Copa del Rey final now.
Actually, let me say it like this, especially with the fact that they're still in European competitions. Real Madrid, still in European competitions, still in other domestic cup competitions. Atletico Madrid, on paper, is the most experienced squad in this race. They are.
Yeah, facts.
They are. They are in terms of.
You don't think Real Madrid's more experienced who won it last year?
Just I'm talking about like youth.
In terms of youth, like
maybe by age. Not trophies, though.
Trophies, in terms of international trophies, you have the French, who have won tons of trophies on that Atletico Madrid squad. The Argentinians have won tons of trophies. Simeone is a.
Why?
Wait, what?
No, I'm just looking at Josh. That's all.
It's true. It's true.
I agree.
They have World Cup winners on that team.
Yes, I agree.
Mbappe's on Real Madrid, bro. Anyways.
I'm not saying that there isn't experience. there is definitely experience.
Let him land, bro. Just let him.
I'm just saying that Atletico Madrid is probably the team with the most they're the oldest team, so they've been playing football professionally the longest, and they've been through these dogfights more. Atletico Madrid is a scrappy team, and like I said last week, Atletico Madrid has the easiest path to win the most games.
The easiest.
Because they have the least games.
I feel you.
They have the least games.
I feel you.
I will say, just to add a little bit to your point, 2 of Barca's later games are going to be, obviously, they have to play El Clasico. They also have to play Athletic Club and Villarreal, which are teams fighting for that 4th, 5th different European qualifying position. So besides just El Clasico, there's some tough games. So, like, it's possible.
Those are 3 games.
And then if teams go farther, and then Real Madrid has some tough games coming up too, do they advance in other competitions?
Atletico Madrid is low-key chilling. They got Valladolid, Las Palmas, Rayo Vallecano,
that could be tough.
Sociedad, Osasuna, and Betis. Those last 2 are gonna be difficult, but like
they don't have.
They should dispose of Rayo, Las Palmas. Like they have a decent run of games where they can pick up a lot of wins.
I think Barca has the toughest schedule. To have El Clásico, Athletic Club, and Villarreal in the last 4 games. That's
and
tough.
European matches.
Yep.
Especially
Might
if you
be long for them.
if you get a little bit of heartbreak in Europe,
Domestic final too coming up. Woo.
one of these teams, like Barca or Real, one of these teams will go through a, can I say this on La Liga channels? On a Liverpool-esque like morale
Just
crash.
a bad week.
You'll have a morale crash where, okay, say you lose a big game in Europe and you lose that big game in the domestic cup, you got to go back to the league and still keep up form there.
Yeah.
Long. Difficult.
So you think Real or Barca will finish third? One of those teams?
Correct.
Wow.
Colchoneros winning the league.
You got it. Betting odds Barca right now, but I think Real Madrid can still
We're
do
not
it.
betting, bro.
No, I'm just saying, like Barca is favorites with the 4-point lead.
yeah.
I still think Real Madrid can do it though, but we'll see.
What about that 4th place spot in La Liga? Who are the 4th place? Who are the teams that are racing for it?
Yeah, we've got
It's Betis, Villarreal, and Athletic Club.
Athletic Club
Just
is
say it.
okay. I didn't know if you
So
were.
4th place teams racing for that 4th place spot in La Liga right now. We have Athletic Club 54 points, Villarreal 48 points, Real Betis 48 points, Celta Vigo 43 points. So it's close and it's possible because we still have 8 more games left. Is that correct? 8?
Yep.
still
Villarreal with a game in hand as well.
We still have 8 more games left in the season, and just to add, Villarreal has a game in hand. Who are you guys betting on getting that 4th place spot? Who do you guys think will get it?
I think Athletic Club is going to get it because Villarreal missed a big opportunity this weekend to beat them. And they did score that goal late. That was ruled off due to a handball. If they had won that game, and I actually predicted them to win that game, I thought they'd really have a chance. They'd also have the game in hand. I think 6-point gap,
Yeah, it's a bit
even
much.
with the game in hand, is going to be just a little too much. Also, Athletic Club's experience in these last few years. They've won a domestic cup recently. They've been consistently getting to at least a 4th and 5th place position, a bit more consistent than Villarreal. I think they'll secure 4th. But actually 5th, I think Real Betis can do it. And they have a really big game coming up this weekend against Villarreal. Obviously, we know the form they're in. Had the draw against Barcelona. Before that, 6 games in a row, 1 in La Liga, unbeaten in 11 matches in all competitions. So the form Real Betis has been in for 2025, the signings they've made with Anthony, Cucho Hernandez coming over from MLS, I think Betis can get 5th, and then I'll go Villarreal with 6th. But it'll be tight because Villarreal has a great offense too. They have so much talent up there.
Brother, let me give you Athletic Club's next games. We have a Rayo Vallecano game, which is doable. Then we have Real Madrid,
Tough.
Real Sociedad,
Yeah, rivalry.
Valencia, Barcelona.
Eesh.
Valencia
Wesh.
just depends on the game though.
Wesh.
I agree.
But Barca,
Valencia at
Real
home.
Madrid.
Valencia at home, though. Valencia at
Yeah.
home.
Honestly,
But Villarreal also got to play Barca and Madrid still. Or at least Barca still.
Yep.
So
I don't see a universe where Betis doesn't secure that
Thank you.
4th spot.
Thank you.
4th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just firing through everybody.
I agree.
They beat Real Madrid a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
They drew Barca recently. And like I said before, they have all the just momentum and attention on them right now. They're shining. Everybody like wants them to succeed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of on a platter. Like
Yep.
they've won 4 matches in their last 5 games. Athletic Club, on the other hand, has picked up a lot of losses in their last couple of matches. So the momentum is swinging in their favor. Now's
So
the time.
let's see.
When's the last time Athletic Club lost 2 in a row?
I don't know.
I think like
I don't
recently.
see.
Well, watch this though. Not only is Betis 6 points away, they also don't have the goal difference. So they need to be 7 points better rest of the
I
season.
believe in it.
Copy.
7 points better, you think?
Anthony's got it, man. I don't know. They could even win the league. You never know.
They can-
never know.
Next year, maybe, if they
never
keep
know.
him.
Hell.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Very, very interesting stuff, man. We'll have to
Fantasy.
see.
Fantasy.
Yep, fantasy.
La Liga fantasy fans, make sure that you guys are getting your picks in. Five-a-side has been pretty much, I think we went 3 for 4 last week in terms of picks on who to pick. We had Donnie Raba from Josh here who got a goal. So make sure you guys are listening to us. This week, who are we picking?
I'm going to go with the Celta Vigo game, specifically the legendary Iago Aspas. I think he'll score for them as they host Espanyol. They're sitting in 7th place in La Liga. I think this is a really big opportunity to continue to climb the table, especially with 6th place playing 5th, a chance they could drop points. So it's a big opportunity for Vigo to go up and continue to climb the table.
Another big matchup we have coming up this weekend is Real Betis versus Villarreal. We got Cucho Hernandez, who's fresh off his trip from the USA, now playing for Real Betis. Bagged a couple goals in a couple of important matches over the last couple weekends, including a goal against Sevilla. So I'll pick him up for this weekend's fantasy matchups.
All right. Speaking of title races, not only do we have the action in La Liga, we have the action in Bundesliga. So this weekend is their Klassiker. We have first place Bayern Munich playing off against their rivals Dortmund. But we have second place Leverkusen, who still has a chance at the title. They currently sit 6 points back from first place. And as their Klassiker occurs, they will be playing Union Berlin. So do we think Leverkusen still have a chance at the title race? And do we think Bayern can drop some points this weekend that will allow Leverkusen to get a little bit closer?
I think Bayern right now, I think we mentioned it earlier, but they're running into injury trouble. I think losing Davies, I hope he recovers quickly, but that's a huge loss for them.
Yep.
I think the Harry Kane curse is not going to evade them, honestly. Sadly, at the end of the day, he can get all the goals he wants, but we kind of see a little bit of momentum swinging in the league in general. I think what happens in Europe is going to play a big part in how the rest of the season plays out. But yeah, I think anything's possible. And after we saw what Leverkusen did last season in the Bundesliga, the world is really their oyster.
Yeah, I actually have a lot of belief in Leverkusen because they had such a magical season last year. And this year to, fall out of Champions League probably earlier than expected, to lose in the German Cup to a third division side, it feels like quite a bit of a letdown, kind of like the sophomore slump that they sometimes say for music artists. I think this is a really big opportunity to finish off the season strong with all their attention focused on the Bundesliga. So I could really see them winning out the rest of their matches. And I do think Bayern is susceptible to potentially dropping points this weekend, especially with what's going on against Inter Milan in the Champions League. So I do think Leverkusen can catch them, actually.
Yeah, looking at even the Klassiker, the last couple matches, the last time Bayern won was 2023. The last two matches, Dortmund won and Dortmund tied.
We'll see.
Speaking of like Bundesliga stuff, the Bundesliga is one of the more interesting leagues in the fact that, first of all, they only have 18 teams compared to some other leagues that have more teams. But the way that they do promotion and relegation is also different in Germany. So in normal leagues, the bottom three drop, the top three from the second division go up. In the Bundesliga, the way that they do it is 16th place in Germany plays third place in the second division. And they have a playoff match, and whoever wins that gets promoted or relegated. So it's possible that in Germany you can finish 16th place, play against the third place team in the second division, beat them, and remain in the league. So right now, in Germany, St. Pauli is 15th place, 26 points. Heidenheim, 16th place, 22. Bochum, 17th place, 20 points. And Holstein Kiel, 18th with 18 points. In the first division, Hamburger, 52 points in first. FC Cologne. Sorry, in the second division, Hamburger, 52 points in first. FC Cologne, second place, 50 points. And then in third place, we have FC Magdeburg with 46 points. FC Kaiserslautern, 46 points. Paderborn, 45 points. Elfsberg, 44 points. Düsseldorf, 44 points. Hanover, 43 points. So between third place and eighth place is a 3-point difference. And all of them are fighting for this third place spot to then play the 16th place team to then go into, I don't know. So it's nuts. It's ridiculous.
So the top two automatically get promoted. Correct. Bottom two automatically demoted.
Yep.
And then you have the playoff. It is a one match?
That's a great question.
Yeah. That is a different format.
It is one match.
Yeah. I want to be at that game. Yo, the intensity, like the amount does. I think that's one of the special things about footy in general is like the amount that weighs in relegation versus promotion is something that you don't have in American sports.
2 legs. It's a two-legged playoff.
I think that's a crazy format, but I like it.
Yeah,
Do you think it's fair?
Which one, please? Which one again?
16th place in the league, so 2 spots away from dropping off, plays third place in the second division.
I think that's amazing. I think every league in the world should adopt that.
Why?
Because it adds
it's so insane.
Adds a level of intensity that can't be replicated in any other sporting event.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like in what sporting universe does a team that should be going down or should be facing some sort of punishment
have a chance to fight?
That, you know what I'm saying? That's on the verge of elevation. And I think it just makes two worlds collide in a way that you don't see anywhere else.
That's the ethos of you should be punished, but you can avoid punishment versus you should deserve to be celebrated and you might not be celebrated.
It's also like two teams that have had completely different seasons. Like generally,
right?
Like that's a team that's for the most part been losing a lot all season. That's going down. On the other hand, it's a team that's been winning a lot going up, but they've been playing two completely different levels of competition.
Exactly,
So it's like a total perspective shift. It's literally just 2 games. So
Yeah.
It also is a heat check in terms of the reality of the competition in that country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it just highlights like the beauty of soccer, where it's like, regardless of what's happening in a table, like the season long table, like at the end of the day, it's 2 teams, 2 groups of 11 people who are facing off each other, like with different skill sets. Individual player here that might be a little better or outplay this player here on a given day. Like regardless of reputation and everything, it's just like, let's see who, like man for man, pound for pound, woman for woman, like who can beat who.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's so unique, and it's just one of the many unique things of German football, honestly. That's really, really cool.
Facts.
Yeah.
American soccer fans, there's been a cool partnership between German soccer and the NFL. The black and yellow team, Borussia Dortmund, has partnered with the Pittsburgh Steelers, another black and yellow team.
Yeah.
2 clubs, 2 cities that have a lot in common just based on the atmosphere and kind of like the way that the fan bases have been so attached to those clubs over the years. What do you guys think about teams from Europe partnering with NFL teams based on like shared history, shared colors? And would you want to see more of that?
NFL been running it up in Europe,
Facts.
especially at the Tottenham Stadium. So now it's eventual. It's also Germany has a culture, at least within just sport in general, where there's interest in American football.
Correct.
Yeah.
I know some people, that have gone to school with that have definitely talked about playing, even in the UK. So now keep on. It makes sense with the colors for both teams.
And they had the games at the Allianz Arena too.
Yep.
Right. So I think it makes sense. It's just good cross promotion in a way of like finding some similarities when you think there might not be any, which I think is always a cool connection culturally. So
yeah, and culturally speaking, it's always like interesting to see like the connections between 2 cities. So like Pittsburgh being a very steel industrial city, and like I don't know too much about Dortmund, but it would be interesting to see like kind of the working class history between the 2 cities.
Exactly.
And like that level of exposure is cool for people who aren't just interested in sports, but also culture, history, all that type of stuff.
Promotes the tourism between the cities too.
Yes. And I like the concept of like fan bases having like friendships.
Mm-hmm.
Even in the same sport, I think it's cool. But
we see that actually too.
Cross sport.
Yeah.
I think it works really well.
Love it. Absolutely love it.
Speaking of the culture within football, we have an Ink segment. Shout out Ink Central and Inked Footy. We're doing Guess the Ink. I'll show y'all pictures of ink on foot players, tattoos on footballers. We're going to see who it is. So I sent it in the chat.
Impossible, bro.
Bro, if you know your ballers, you know your ballers.
Know their tattoos.
2 ballers. Hear me.
It's funny because I feel like I know it.
Two ballers.
I'm going off the hair though.
They have the tattoo called Tudo Passa, which means everything passes by. It's a Portuguese phrase.
Yep. Similarly used also in Spanish, Todo Pasa. Neymar's one.
Can I guess?
Wait.
Yeah,
wait, it's Portuguese?
The person who doesn't know, who's struggling to guess.
Wait, let me guess. I think it's Fred.
Okay. Why?
I think it's Fred.
I haven't heard that guy's name in so
The cut.
long.
The cut, fair. Okay. You should know who that is.
Can I say who this is?
Yeah. But do you know these 2 footballers, man?
I know Neymar.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say Neymar.
He knows his football.
This one is tough.
Is that Origi?
So this player also looks up to
This
Neymar
one,
a
right?
lot. Looks up to Neymar a lot.
Is that Leo? Leo?
Yeah.
Sheesh.
With the shorter hair though.
That was back
Kind
in
of.
the day.
Yeah.
But
Also
it's
Portuguese,
actually,
yeah.
Tudo Passa is actually both on the left sides of the neck.
That's tough.
Yeah. So,
Legendary.
yeah.
Great phrase
Tudo
too.
pasa.
Yeah.
What does it mean?
Tudo passa.
Everything passes. Like,
Because you can do, hold on, let's do mad language here. Tudo passa. Todo passa. Tutto passa.
Mhm.
French.
Two pass.
Two
Tu
pass.
passes. See, it be like all jumpy, then the French do this. We should probably introduce our guest too. Who we got here. He's like, who's on the screen, bro?
Let's cap it up for Fabrice, man. Cap it up for
All the way from Switzerland, straight from the Alps, bro. What's up?
Tell the people who we got here today, man.
Thank you, guys. Fabrice from Switzerland, here in New York, spending a week here.
Yeah,
And thank you for inviting me.
of course.
Kendrick, thank you, guys.
Of course.
Been watching your videos on the gram.
I
You guys
appreciate
are
it.
doing a great job.
Love.
It's nice to be here.
Thank you.
Appreciate that, man.
Big
we gotta,
fab, man. Big
Yeah.
fab.
we gotta give a little context about how we met.
I was going to say.
So it was my
What's
first
on your shirt? What's on your
Huh?
shirt?
Yeah, facts. So it was my first time doing like a solo trip to Europe. I was taking, I did a solo trip to Paris last summer. Went to go to the Yard Festival to just hear some music, enjoy the vibes. I'm chilling. So basically, you know, festival culture, you kind of got to get to the stage early because if you don't, like, you're gonna be all the way in the back, just missing somewhere. So I go to NSG because I'm like, I'm in Paris, like. They got fans here, but you know they probably won't be as many people. Like, let me try to get to the front. So I'm in the. I go like the concert before, so that I make sure I'm in the front.
Yeah.
That one ends, and then it's like 2 people that stayed to like wait to be in front of NSG, and it's me and him. And so I don't remember who said what's up first, but we were kind of just like, "Who are you here for?"
Dialed in.
He was like, "NSG." You're like, "Yeah, me too." So yeah, that was dope. What was that experience like for you, like the festival?
It was something great. I mean, in Switzerland, we also have this kind of festival, but this one in France was different, you know. It's daylight, a lot of people coming in, a lot of artists. You have games, you have food, any kind of genre of music, you know, people coming there. It was great.
Yeah.
Was it your first time going yard?
Yardland, yes. I think it was the first edition.
It was the first one they did, yeah.
Like outside during summer.
Yeah. And I don't even know if I think I told you about this, but like I almost died, bro.
How?
Because I don't remember the name of the artist. Well, who was the artist that was like crazy?
Oh, yeah. Gradure.
Gradio?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like basically we were in like this pit area for this other concert. This is like the biggest stage. And he was like, yo, like, you got to stay here because the next artist that's about to come up is about to, like, be crazy. And when he said that, I was like, all right, cool, it's going to be lit. Bro, they started, like, mosh pitting. Like, everybody was pushing each other. Everybody
While you was in the front?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
So, like, there's dust coming up in the air to the point where, like, I'm, like, getting pushed around. I look up. I don't even know where he is, bro. I was like, yo. I had to, like, I had to go to, like, the emergency tent, bro. Like,
Oh, it's like that.
it was
Oh,
crazy.
damn.
I couldn't breathe.
He texted me. He
really
texted
couldn't
me.
breathe.
He texted me.
Damn, bro.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad you.
I have a
was
bad
dying,
festival experience too.
Yeah.
We're gonna give a story.
Yeah.
So I was this is my first time ever visiting Philadelphia. I'm about to live there full time, checking out my apartment. This is June 1st of 2019. So right after graduation. It was actually the day of the Champions League final. Liverpool versus Tottenham. Complete snooze fest. It was Roots Picnic that Saturday, I guess it would have been. And, you know, I'm sitting there, I'm kind of like further in the bag, just waiting, whatever. And it was one of the first years Roots Picnic had a lot more like youthful rappers there. So you had like 21 Savage, City Girls, Lil Baby, kind of that kind of energy. So I think people were a little interested to see how it would go. And, you know, I was there for maybe one set and then 21 Savage comes on. And I'm not too close to the front. Like I'm pretty much further back in space, seeing the crowd and just vibing because I was by myself. And then out of nowhere, you just see the crowd like slowly back up until you see like 1,000 people sprinting. Keep in mind, this was a time in America where we had like 9 mass shootings in the last week. And so I just turned and ran forward. I was like, is this happening? Like it felt surreal. Like, am I in a mass shooting right now? Just ran for my life, lost the shoot. And I specifically remember looking back. Should I grab it as like the stampede's coming? Like, there's no time for that. So I ran one-footed like Usain Bolt. It was crazy. But nothing happened. There was no gun, no nothing, but some people did get trampled and shit. We don't know what really started it. Someone could have yelled, he got a gun, whatever, and then everyone just running. I wasn't about to stick around to find out. So yeah, festivals, be safe, y'all.
Ran like you was on the Eagles.
Literally, dog.
My
Saquon for sure.
my
He
sophomore
was not catching me.
my sophomore year, I went to the Travis show at
Oh,
Gov
Lord.
Ball,
Oh,
which
Lord.
was 3 weeks before the Astro World show, like the Astro World.
Yeah, the one.
So I went with my girl, and like there were people swinging. What's the thing that when athletes get hurt, they put like what's it called?
Crutch?
Crutches, exactly. People were swinging crutches in mosh pits.
That's so dangerous.
Like, so I understand why what happened to Astro will happen because it's genuinely that is like
The vibe.
Travis's shows back then were like it was unsafe. It was
And if you don't have the right
unsafe.
security and you don't
Yeah.
have the right pathways for the
Yeah,
EMTs to
especially
sneak
it's like,
in.
It's the last show, so you have the girls who like haven't had water all day. You've been
People
like,
on drugs,
sardine.
Yeah.
Dangerous,
man.
but it could also be a good time.
Yeah. I was going to say for a positive experience, another festival in Philly, it was actually the last ever Made in America performance because the festival no longer exists. It was Bad Bunny.
Ooh, I'm sure that was amazing.
Sunday night to close the festival.
That sounds
A
fun.
calm, maybe 200,000 people, just an absolute
Vibe.
sea.
Yeah.
It was off of the album that had Tite Me Pregunto.
course,
And it's
the
like
summer
that,
one.
it was, bro, I'm telling you, I've never been in a more lit crowd than that. And I knew it would get so packed that, well, first off, the racial demographic completely flipped when he was on that lineup. Like, it got at least 50% Latino. It just shows the cultural power he has.
Yeah.
Burna Boy was on the second biggest stage to the side, and I fully missed it to have a better Bad Bunny view.
That's
And
a tough
also
choice.
to have a good view, though, of Don Toliver beforehand. But I'm like, I'm staying at this stage. I
was
just
the
can't
mass.
miss it. So I think I was maybe in the front few thousand of like the 150K, whatever it was.
Nice.
But that was fun because it was that giant crowd, but it was just a party. It wasn't any like mosh pit. It was just enjoying it. So that was a very positive festival experience.
Question for Fabrice: what's the first concert you ever been to in your life?
The first one
Shall I
was in 2012 in Zurich, and I had the chance to see Kendrick Lamar.
Hey.
That was one of my first concerts too, bro.
Really?
In 2011.
What?
Nice.
2011, I saw Kendrick at Slope Day before Good Kid, Mad City at Cornell University because I grew up in Ithaca, New York.
What did
All right.
Yeah.
What was all y'all's first concerts?
Young Thug. This
Where?
This was school, Ithaca, man.
Word. Nice.
This was like
2016?
Slime Season 2 came out. This is Young Thug pumping like, bro, I'm talking about people. My man ran up to my dorm, like, talking about Young Thug's coming to campus. It was crazy. I don't know how they pulled that
I
off.
do remember that.
Crazy. That's when everybody was doing Hit Them Folks.
Yeah.
Lit.
Like,
My first
yeah.
my first like adult concert was Lil Uzi.
Okay, cool.
Again, like college.
Crazy as hell, right?
Yeah, college. But my first concert, like when I was younger, like in high school, was Bryson Tiller.
Fire.
Who would you gonna Bryson Tiller show?
It was a group trip.
Yeah.
Got you.
Were you a big Bryson fan?
Yeah, definitely.
Bro, I remember when Don't
You used
first.
to dress like Bryson.
Yeah, low key.
What?
That was the
That's
era,
funny.
bro. That
Come
was the
on,
era.
dude.
That was
Bro,
the
the
era.
dad hat
If you
with
scroll on
the.
his Instagram, you'll see it.
Bro, I listen, that's all I was trying to be. With the Ultra Boost and everything,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
my shit.
Bomber
bro.
jacket, head ass niggas.
Had to.
Flannel.
Had to. Huh?
Who's your first?
I think my very first was
Shit,
actually
man.
also Cornell, Lupe Fiasco, when
Good
I was
show.
14.
Good show.
So that was off of the Lasers album. So he did like, I think the Food and Liquor one
Show
and two.
goes on, head ass.
Huh?
Nigga. Show goes on.
Yeah,
Kick push,
yeah.
kick push.
I was 14.
Yeah.
That was my first ever concert.
That's classic.
I got some stories.
What
That
about
shit.
you, Seb?
Saba.
Oh.
I saw Saba
Yeah.
in Philly too.
I'm very
a great
proud of
one.
that. For the
Yeah.
first one,
That's
that's
It's
a
a
good
great Phil one.
first one I ever. It was a small show too. Very
Had
small.
to
What,
be.
what year was it?
This is right after.
He did 10K in Chicago. Don't do that.
We
No, I'm
go,
saying
yeah.
in terms of like,
Nah, this
I'm
is
playing with you.
this is it's not Care for Me. It's the one before that.
Photosynthesis.
Yes,
Great album.
Yeah,
Caught him early. I saw him after a few good things, I think, in Philly. Great show.
I've seen him every
Yeah.
show.
He's a very, very good rapper. 7
He just
years
put
of
out-
Care for Me.
He
Just
just
popped.
put out
With No ID.
with No ID.
I
It's
gotta
beautiful.
listen to that.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, Saba's special.
but since we talking about concerts around the world, we talking about artists from around the world. I think we should talk about some football around the
Yes.
world.
Absolutely.
Something that's been in the headlines recently is travel bans. And so Trump is president currently right now, and he's notorious for banning travel and visa approvals from certain countries. And so there's just been a lot of talk on the internet about how people are going to get here for the World Cup in 2026. And Trump is already talking about doing like waves of travel bans for lots of different countries, most of which, as of right now, don't look like there'll be countries that would necessarily like qualify to play in the World Cup. But
Iran.
I was gonna say some of the countries that are up there and like people are predicting might be banned from traveling here include Iran, include potentially Japan, include the Koreas, and include most notably, at least on my list, Cameroon. And we don't know if they're gonna make it, of course, but I don't know. It just begs the question of like,
Unnecessary to say.
no, it just begs the question of like, what is going to be the perception of this upcoming World Cup? How are people going to get here? What does it mean if people from, I guess Black and brown countries aren't allowed to be here for the World Cup? And I'm curious for you, like, what's the perception around like the World Cup in the USA as somebody that lives outside the United States?
Yeah.
How are people like talking about it? Is it like excitement? Is it like, what are the feelings around it?
We are hyped.
Yeah.
It's the US
Yeah.
and also take place in Canada and Mexico.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So for us, it's the right occasion to do a big vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just go to the US, and then you can move, see games.
Yeah.
But the thing is that price-wise, that's still a point that we don't know. But it's a great thing coming for sure.
Yeah.
I think we talk a lot about sports washing. And we, for instance, the Visit Rwanda stuff can be considered sports washing. So what I would say is that within the sports washing mentality that I'm sure the U.S. will want to do with that, I could see them having some sort of temporary lift to ensure that the World Cup experience goes as well as possible for everyone. Everyone can give 2 thumbs up for that 1 month and then completely shut it down, beforehand and after. But I do think the country will try to be as accommodating as possible, because it also can affect the bottom line, and we know how capitalistic America is. So I could see some level of lifting it just for that special occasion.
So what I will say is that in talking to people that work for Mamelodi Sundowns, which is the South African club that's going to be at the Club World Cup, they had organized. Yeah, I'm allowed to say this. They had organized organized a fan travel organization plan for South African fans to apply for visas through the club to then attend Club World Cup games. Denied. Every single person.
Oh, damn.
Every single South African fan denied.
Yeah.
They haven't even applied for visas for players yet.
Players would be crazy.
So, I mean, this is not abnormal for players to get denied entering into the U.S. It's happened with Haitian. It happened with a Haitian club, maybe 2 years ago. I think we spoke about it on the pod actually.
Yeah, we did. We talked about something.
It happened with Zambian players who were playing a friendly in DC. It happened with Ghanaian players, men's players who were playing friendlies in DC. So this story comes around a couple of times where players from lower level clubs who perhaps don't have as much influence are not able to come to the U.S. For every single South African fan to get denied entry for a tournament that is a FIFA tournament is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, not to mention Mexico hosting as joint partners with us, Canada hosting as joint partners with us, and we're beefing with them.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We will see.
It's getting techie.
It's bad on all fronts, because even if they do lift this stuff to make it seem nice, we know the reality of what it is. So it's either they lift it to make it seem nice, or they put the hard lines of fuck, oh yeah, we don't give a fuck. So either result is not the best, unfortunately.
Another kind of random interesting story that I was reading up on. I saw that there was over 150, maybe 200 Chelsea and Manchester City fans who are on a list of people who are banned from traveling to the U.S. For the Club World Cup, but not banned by the U.S. government, banned by the British government or the English government for quote unquote thuggish behavior. So people who are on a watch list for hooliganism and certain things, they literally have to turn their passports into the government by a certain amount of days before the tournament starts.
Yeah.
And they're not allowed to travel.
They don't want no bad
They
press,
can't
boy.
go to other. They just can't leave the.
They
country.
have to turn their passport into the government, and if they don't, they get a hefty fine or 6 months in jail.
Wow.
They don't want bad press.
I thought that was wild.
And that think
I
about
never
it.
seen nothing like that.
The level of hooliganism in England used to be so bad. That's why you can't drink in the stadiums.
Yeah.
Because that's how bad it was in the 90s. And Chelsea was one of the leading clubs of those vibes.
Why Chelsea fans doing that?
I don't know, bro.
It's crazy.
Hype.
Speaking of London, though, they're going to be hosting the Unity Cup, which I think is a very, very interesting concept. Because at first we thought England would be playing in it, but they will be hosting the Unity Cup. This will be featuring Jamaica, Nigeria, Ghana, and then Trinidad and Tobago. And then just to read up on it, what's up?
England's not playing?
No, they're hosting it. We thought they were, so we thought it was a little colonizer cup type of vibe. And so the way it's going to be formatted, so this is a tournament happening in London in May of this year, 2025. And this has been confirmed by the Ghana Football Association. So the first semifinal will be taking place on May 27th with the 2 Caribbean teams, while on the other side of the bracket will be the 2 African sides. And then there will be a third place match on May 31st with the winners facing each other in the final later that day as well. So yeah, it's just a friendly tournament format to bring together the diaspora. The Unity Cup seems to be the concept behind it. So very curious to y'all thoughts, because we thought it was going to be England, Ghana, Nigeria, Jamaica, and it was going to be techie when Saka plays Nigeria, you know what I'm saying? And then Hudson-Odoi versus England kind of vibe. But it sounds like it's going to be all diasporic teams. So yeah, thoughts on this?
It's gonna bring
and definitely your perspective too as a European. So
is gonna bring out, it's gonna be. Let me rephrase that. It's gonna be a good opportunity for the diaspora representation in London.
For sure.
Especially having games home, there instead of having to go back home.
Yeah.
To, experience that. It'll be cool if some fans from back home go to London for that too. I'm saying, we got to get out there though. That's all.
Listen, the parties that weekend, it's gonna be a great time. I feel like there's got to be a lot of activations around it,
Must be.
concerts, parties, like really, food
What
trucks,
time
all
of
that
year?
kind of everything. It's May. It's right before the Champions League final. It's right around the Champions League final.
Champions League final.
Yeah, May 27th to May 31st. So it's right before the Champions League
I
final.
wish they would have it during Notting Hill, man.
That might be a little too much. Thoughts on it though?
It will be a great experience.
Yeah.
As you said, it will bring together a lot of people, a lot of party for sure. And it's nice to see teams that you don't see every day.
Yeah,
Playing in London, the country of football.
for sure.
It's a lot of bragging rights. We need Congo in that though, man.
Yeah. Who would be in y'all little mini tournament? We got Congo. Who else?
Congo, France, Haiti, Cameroon.
Wait, you just went like.
That's
But
the
England's
five.
not in this. This would have to happen in Paris.
Yeah, no, it'd be a francophone unity cup. So
Who would it be?
Congo, Cameroon, Haiti,
Senegal.
Senegal, France, Belgium.
Mali.
Well, you're
Benin.
adding the
No, no,
Europeans.
no,
You
we're
can't add
saying
the
the
Europeans.
Europeans.
Oh, without them?
But it has to be in Paris though, or something.
I think we could add the Europeans for this one. Because there's enough. The Belgians can play. The French can play. Could be fun.
Haiti versus France, bro.
You know.
Haiti versus France. Has that ever happened?
I don't think I would want to see that.
No.
Nah.
That's not even.
Not for
Yeah.
football.
It would not,
He said not in football. Yeah, that's right, bro. Not in football. Something else.
Who would win between our countries though? Haiti versus Congo.
I think Congo.
You think so?
We might make it to the World Cup,
Cup,
next
yeah.
year.
Yeah,
Okay.
We
it's true.
Fair.
I have a question. As someone you grew up in Switzerland, what is it like being a fan of the Swiss national team? Like, would you say you're a fan of the Swiss national team? Like, do you support Switzerland in tournaments and stuff? To an extent, kind of. For like, the thing that like has always been interesting to me about Switzerland and like countries like Belgium too is like the fact that there's so many languages in the country. How does the nation kind of like get behind Switzerland when it comes to football? Like, would you say it's like different compared to other European countries?
No, I would say it's the same,
Okay.
because we all come together during the games. We all be on the team. I don't watch all the games, but in being competition, of course, if we play, also we are always the underdogs,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we make it, it's always a big party.
Got you.
So we always behind the team, also from all the regions, Italian region, French region, the German region. We all come together.
Okay. Cool.
Switzerland's low-key a better footballing nation than they always get credit for, too, I would say as well.
Absolutely.
Just considering how they've performed recently in the Euros and the World Cup, even famously beat my Spain in the opening match of the 2010 World Cup. Spain obviously went on to win it. But that shows like the caliber of talent that they have. They got the young guy Ndoye on Bologna who's balling out right now. There's a lot of I feel like Switzerland's one of those national teams from my perspective. Once you see the actual lineup, like, oh wait, he's from this team, Akanji from Man City. Then you start piecing it together. It's like, nah, they actually have a squad. But individually, you don't always, think of that level.
One question I wanted to ask: is there a part of Switzerland where a lot of good footballers, come from? Is
I
that
would
like?
say Zurich,
Mm,
Geneva, Lausanne area, Bern as well.
I see.
Got you.
It's a lot of competition.
Yeah, where do you have the biggest team, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So to have the good center where they bring up the young players.
Yeah, to play.
And the biggest team is FC Basel.
Basel, yes, young boys.
Oh, Young Boys, BCS Young Boys
Nice.
too. We forgetting about that.
Never broke again.
Never broke again.
This might be a little bit too if this is too political, you could just say you don't want to talk about
Here
it.
we go.
But the Shaqiri and
Oh, the Albanians.
what's his name?
Shaka.
Xhaka, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the perception of that in Switzerland? Like they're having Albanian roots and throwing up the Albanian symbols, and yeah, I'm just curious, like your perspective and I guess the general perspective of them as Swiss players who kind of rep that side of their identity maybe a little bit more or in a different way.
I would say that in Switzerland, we have a lot of people coming from the Balkans, especially in football, and they're good.
Yeah.
You know, when you watch like the younger teams, the top or key players usually are coming or have origins from the Balkan countries. So wrapping their origins with the Swiss national team, if we win, it's not an issue. If we lose, could be.
It's like the Turkish and Germany kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like, why in the issue? How? Like, how do people react?
In the bad way, you mean?
Yeah.
They will say they're not Swiss. You know, they will say they're Albanians or anything else before they're Swiss. Right. But if they win, our team is great.
Yeah.
Interesting.
As you said, like the German-Turkish situation.
It's so interesting how that manifests across different countries.
Yeah.
And sometimes it has to do with actually nationality and not race, for instance, in that sort of situation. So it's just very interesting to hear that different perspective.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the Swiss don't really have a lot of like black players on their team.
At the moment, no, I think we have.
There's a few, though.
2, Ndoye, Akanji.
Is Vargas
And
black?
Mbola also.
Mbolo, yeah.
Vargas is
Cameroonian.
black, right? He's at least mixed, Vargas.
I
Edu.
think it's mixed, but
Yeah. They got a few, though. They got a few, bro.
yeah, we have.
Vargas is black. Vargas is black.
I'm saying he could be. I'm saying that's another
There's,
non-white player. There's a few
Ricardo
more.
Rodriguez, the Betis player, he's like Peruvian or something.
Yeah.
Shit.
It's I'd say it's more diverse than you'd think, surprisingly. It's one of those nationalities, I would say, for sure.
Interesting.
And it also has, I mean, that gets into like
But that's
just the
because
historical, political nature of
it's such a
Switzerland.
wealthy country. Like per capita, it's such a wealthy country that generally I don't think kids are focused. Like white Swiss kids, my imagination would be like white Swiss kids aren't like pushing sport within the communities the same way that other white people in other European countries are.
That's true.
Just because it's like, to a certain extent, wealth defeats the concept of sport within community. So
It does.
it does. Like if you look at like the wealthiest countries in Europe, they tend to be worse at sport. Like the small micronations, like Luxembourg and San Marino. That's what I'm saying.
Georgia.
Yeah. You're saying small, wealthy nations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
small,
Monaco
wealthy.
and
Yeah.
Andorra. Georgia's a big country.
He just threw that out there.
Yeah, Georgia's a big
Just fuck
country.
with
Yeah.
you. Just fuck with you.
Yeah.
No, it's an interesting,
You could cut that
interesting
up,
point.
man.
And so therefore, like it'll be more so immigrant populations that'll like come in and play for the country. So that's why you have Ricardo Rodriguez, who's like a Peruvian Swiss
Yeah.
player, and Bolo Cameroon.
And Switzerland has the headquarters of the UN, so it is a very international country.
Super.
Like my friend Artie Furtado, he's from Switzerland. He's saying his friends were from everywhere, all different types of African ancestry, from different European nations, all the different languages spoken. It just is a very global experience being Swiss, is what I hear from other Swiss people.
What kind of chargers do you guys use in Switzerland?
Georgia.
That's a great travel question.
We have like
Is it the normal European one?
The 3-prong?
The one that you can use in Germany and Italy?
exactly.
Okay, got it.
Nice.
Yes.
The British got that other weird thing, right?
That's why I was asking.
I don't like that shit.
I could not charge
Similar
my
to
phone in
yours,
England.
right? The one they use in the UK is similar to yours.
No.
No, we have different ones. Yeah.
The UK uses a 4th or 3. It's like a 3 thing. It looks like this. in the
Hate it.
UK. It's really big. Yeah. It sucks. It sucks.
Another question for you: do you support the Swiss or the Congolese national team more?
Or both.
Nah, I'm saying which one do you support more?
Congo.
Yeah, bro.
You repping it. Yeah, you got
didn't
it
come wearing
on.
Switzerland.
You got it on.
It's a
Yeah.
fact,
What?
man.
So what's it like been? What's it been like following that team, the Congolese national team, over the last couple of years?
It has been a roller coaster of emotions, especially during the last AFCON.
I feel you.
We came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Nobody expected us, and we still made it to the semifinals.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
You
Yeah.
guys lost to Nigeria and
We lost
Ivory
to
Coast.
Ivory Coast.
Ivory
Yes.
Oh, the host, yeah.
It was a great competition, you know. We actually thought that we could go through to the final, and it has been great.
Yeah.
It's been great. Hopefully next year we come to the US.
Yeah.
man.
You think y'all can do it?
I think we can.
Yeah.
I think we can, but we need like to be more packed as a team,
Mhm.
more strong.
Hey,
What do you
man.
guys think?
I mean,
Let me look at the standings.
Yeah. I know one team that's in trouble is Nigeria.
Yeah.
They're in some real trouble. They sit in 4th place in their group. Their only opportunity is really to be one of the better 2nd place teams. Otherwise, they have to go to a playoff. So they're in trouble. Yeah. They got Rwanda actually in 2nd.
it's a fact.
Yeah.
So Congo is sitting in first place right now in their qualifying group.
Oh, y'all in first?
13
Oh, y'all
points.
might really do it.
Senegal in second, Sudan in third. But it's tight. It's super
Senegal
Yeah.
second.
Senegal in second, Sudan in third. It's very
Africa's
tight.
just such an exciting continent for
The teams
for
that the big
qualifiers.
teams, actually the big teams in Africa that are struggling right now.
Nigeria.
Senegal is not top of their group. Nigeria is fourth in
Bro,
their
they're
group,
in trouble.
sitting on 7 points behind South Africa, Rwanda, Benin. It's looking tough for Nigeria to
No,
make
it's
a World
looking
Cup.
really
very
bad.
tough.
Yeah.
Cameroon is sitting in second, behind Cape Verde, but it's only a 1 point difference. Gabon is struggling. Well, they could probably make it over.
Have they
without-
ever made one?
I don't know.
It'd
Actually.
be the first one, right?
It could be. It could
Or
be.
maybe they've made one, but shout out Aubameyang.
And then so it's more so just Nigeria that seems to not.
That
be
one is crazy, bro.
Nigeria sitting in fourth in their group is kind of nuts.
The crazy thing about it is that
Behind Benin,
the crazy thing
Yeah, and
about it.
Rwanda?
can't name a Beninese footballer.
Name a Rwandese player.
The crazy thing
No, I can't
about
name it.
Nigeria struggling to the degree that they are is how much the players have been posting about how like
You're right.
fun it's been.
You're right.
Yeah.
Like
You're right.
like Awobi
yeah, you're right.
and
About beds, sharing
Olaina
beds. and
Calvin Bassey.
making memes about sharing a bedroom
Yeah,
and like
Pass
taking-
the phone on the
taking
airplane.
pictures, yeah, doing jokes
True,
in the
actually.
air.
That's a very good
So
point.
it's like in the beginning it was like, oh, look
Yeah.
at this, like unity, they're all together, they're all friends, like this is
meeting
lit.
each other in the airport.
And then it was
Yeah,
like,
now I
oh,
look at the
maybe
group
they're just
standings.
unserious.
Yeah.
Osimhen ain't having. I'll tell you what though, Osimhen ain't having none of that. I know he ain't playing. Osimhen ain't having none of
I
that.
don't
He
know,
gon-
man. He was doing backflips the other day, bro.
He was doing backflips in
They got him
Turkey.
joking too. Aw. Well, it's in Turkey though. Damn.
I don't know.
Damn.
Fourth place in your they're not going to make the World Cup. I'll say it right now. There's
So wait.
3 teams ahead of them.
But the thing is, okay,
I don't know how they turn
so
it on.
the format's kind of weird. There's some of the second place teams will advance,
Yeah.
and I think some of the third place teams have a playoff.
Yeah, there's
if
a
I'm not,
playoff. There's a
so they'll likely, maybe they catch Rwanda. If not, I think they'll have to go into a playoff. But how tense?
No, but
is
they're
that?
not third. They're fourth.
I know, but there's a few games left. I think they can get a couple W's. That's my prediction.
Okay, I have an article here. Nigeria can still qualify for the 2026 World Cup. Essentially they need to.
Oh, yeah, we should probably go.
They need some things to happen. With
Yeah.
4 matches left, the Super Eagles must win all of their remaining games and hope that their rivals drop points. So they need to hope
know
that
you
South
like
Africa
this.
loses. They need to hope that South Africa loses at least 2 games, at least,
Tough.
and they need to win all of them.
Well, Josh, how do you feel? Because I saw Nigerians poke a lot of jokes at Ghana missing AFCON.
You all saw that?
No, I did. I saw Nigerians talk a lot of smack about y'all, bro.
I think the funniest thing was when Ghana, because the Ghanaian FA posted the flyer for the Unity Cup, right?
Yeah.
They decided how like the marketing and all of it.
Yeah.
So they put the nicknames under all the teams, right?
Yeah.
So Jamaica Reggae Boys,
Yeah.
Ghana Black Stars, Trinidad Soccer Boys. They said Green Eagles for Nigeria, bro. You know that the Super Eagles. They said Green Eagles.
Oh, they. Hey, man. That's up to their marketing, man.
Those
to-
politician, Josh.
Oh, they. But nah, Niger should be doing better. It's gonna be interesting to see.
The last thing I'll say on World Cup qualifiers, we gotta show love to Palestine.
Facts.
Yep.
They're on the verge of, or there's still potential for them to qualify in the Asia Federation. They had a huge win against Iraq a couple weeks ago in Jordan, which was a historic win. And so right now they're playing to get into that 4th spot in order to then go on to a playoff in North America. And it's just a wild situation. The players are obviously going through a lot. The federation actually, like in the video to announce their last lineup, they basically posted kind of a video showcasing young people in Palestine like playing soccer amongst like destruction. Kind of showcasing like the young people that are like watching these players on this journey. This is kind of what they're living in right now. So yeah, definitely just got to show love to that federation, everything they're doing, because I don't know who else would be able to accomplish what they're accomplishing right now under their circumstances.
That's a fact. Shout out them. I actually want to grab this piece FC real quick because, all right, so The homies at We Are the Peace are doing a lot for these communities that are in struggle right now. And it's cool to see the footballing nations that are actually all on this jersey have a chance of making the World Cup. So we have Sudan, Palestine, and Congo all with a chance of making the World Cup. You just mentioned Congo's in first place. Sudan is tied on points with Senegal in second place in their group, and Palestine still has an opportunity. So despite everything that's going on in those countries, the fact that they can still make it far in the sport is just a testament to the strength of the people. So, yeah, hold it up one more time. Peace FC, We Are the Peace. Just another great place where you can get some drip while donating. Also, just lots of ways to donate to all these different causes. So,
last question I'm gonna ask. You got the Yankees hat on. Let me know one thing you love about New York so far, bro.
The streets.
Hey.
How it's
The
easy
streets,
to move,
Mm.
and the subway.
Okay, like
The
MTA.
subway.
from a European saying that? Wow.
We might need
What
you
state-
to explain that.
Have you
bro.
taken the J train yet?
You're asking me too much.
Yeah,
You ain't been to Bowery, bro. You ain't been to Bowery.
That's a
What
fact.
do you like about the subway though?
Is that it goes fast,
It's accessible.
and you can go like you move quickly.
Yeah, it's true.
Anywhere in New York is huge. I mean, I've been only in Manhattan now.
Oh, okay.
See, you ain't know about them, bro.
But you could go Harlem, you could go Queens, you could go Bronx, you could go anywhere.
He ain't seen the issues.
You only
though,
gotta
yet.
pay. You only gotta pay once to get into. It's not like you gotta pay to go to a different
Yeah, like
train and all
DC.
that.
DC does that. weird
London
thing,
does that too. For
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, I'll explain why we have to pay multiple times in our subway.
Why?
Because we have carpets.
The carpets
We need to
are
keep
so
the-
crazy.
keep things
The
proper and
carpets are
clean,
crazy,
bro.
Man,
Y'all don't.
that was blew
Y'all
my
barely
mind.
pay out here.
Nah,
bro.
facts. The carpets
Nah,
is
facts.
crazy.
They trying to make us pay now,
I know they are.
Yeah, it keeps getting higher too.
bro. They keep on putting the tap by the door.
Mm-hmm.
Like, bro, what's wrong with
Nah, it's
y'all?
crazy.
I'm surprised you didn't say the Chick-fil-A, bro.
Are you at your
It's
fillet?
on the list. I mean, the list of things that I like is
Yeah.
huge.
Ah,
I had
Yeah.
my first Chick-fil-A. Actually, I've been to Walmart yesterday.
yeah.
Where the hell Walmart? Oh, it's a Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't think we don't have a Walmart in New York City.
I
That's
went
crazy.
there
Mm.
because I had to.
That's
And-
America right there, bro.
Yes.
He's like, that's America.
Like coming from Europe, seeing like huge bottles of everything.
Water. It's a huge box of everything.
No, it's everything. That's a fact. That's a fact, man.
It gets big in the South too.
Oh, listen, bro.
In the South, everything.
Everything, bro. Listen,
It's
I was
big.
recently in Texas. I know we gotta get out of here soon, but everyone at the airport, giant soda. There is no smaller option. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, bro. You know what I'm talking about, bro. I was in San Antonio, big ass sodas. You know what I'm
said-
talking about, bro. Everybody, it's what is it? Whataburger? No, on some real shit. Like, listen, the size of the bottle or of the what do you call it? The shit you get from the
jug,
fountain.
the jug.
The jug of soda, massive. There's no small option.
Go soda.
They don't
Wait till-
give you a small option. I
Wait
promise you,
till
it's
you come to West
crazy,
Virginia
bro.
with me. You'll see guns at Target.
Oh, and they sell guns at Walmart.
that's
Yeah,
what these
America's
guys do.
crazy, bro.
In the
You'll learn a
South,
lot.
They
in the
sell
South.
guns.
In the
They sell
South,
guns
it's
at the
At the
Walmart.
CVS. they sell
Yeah,
guns.
big guns,
What?
big soda, big wood. No.
They don't sell guns at Walmart here,
They do have
but
guns.
in the South they have guns at Walmart.
You can just buy them.
They got hunting ones though in New York State, I think.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah.
just
a license or something.
Oh nah, bro, just a credit card.
You need a license, you need a
Depends
license.
where. West Virginia, you don't need a license.
Really?
it's probably like
Depends
buying,
what timing you want. It depends what
it's
timing
probably
you
like buying beer. Like
Yeah.
like maybe you need
Exactly.
an ID,
He's
but
right. He's right. Exactly.
some people not
It's
gonna
like,
ask
you know,
you
you
for the
good,
ID.
bro. Yeah.
want. Do you want to come in for the World Cup still?
New York.
New York,
Oh,
New York,
God.
Canada, Toronto.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming on, bro. But yeah, for that, that'll be a wrap for episode 82 of the Five Side Podcast. Talk to y'all very soon. Peace.